G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. Now today I am going to try out these Montmartre acrylic inks that I bought. I just got them on eBay. It was a set and I thought I'd try green, purple and teal. So I've got bright green, violet and teal there. So yeah, see how they go. I've made them a little bit more transparent than I would normally make my colors, because I want to go for more of like a pastel-y look rather than too bright. The green seems a bit lighter. I've added more green drops in there, but it still seems lighter. I can see through it more than I can see through that one. That one seems the darkest out of all of them. Now, I've got this little thing, little kitty. I got a whole bag of little, I think they're just little plastic flowers, all different colors and things. And what I did with this one, I just put some UV resin over the top, popped it under the lamp so that it's got a flat base, because it's not flat. And I wanted it to be flat so I can use it as my center. Hopefully, I'm hoping it won't float. So that's it there. That's what it looks like after it's had its little resin on top. Hopefully that's in the middle. And I'll push that down. It may still float. I don't know. If it floats, I'm just going to have to keep pushing it down. I did that once before with something else and it kept floating and I kept pushing it. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I am doing the fairy flower technique that I learnt from resincourses.com, and as usual I will link their website with my 10% discount code down in the description for you. I hope these colours are okay together. I don't think I've ever used green, teal and purple before, but I did want to see what the Montmartre colours are like. I really don't know whether it makes a difference, you know, as to what brand of inks you use, because I've used Octopus Fluids inks, I've used Holbein, I've used Octopus Write and Draw, and now the Montmartre. I think, what else have I used? I think I've used another brand. I can't remember what it is, but I'm pretty sure I use another brand. And look, they all seem to work. I don't think it's really important that you pick one or the other. So, you know, don't get too stressed about, oh, I haven't got the inks that Julie's using. Oh, and there's, you know, there's oh, what are they called? Liquitex inks as well. I would say just use what you've got. Like I said, I don't think it's about the brand of ink. I wouldn't use an alcohol ink just because they're not saturated enough. They're mainly alcohol with a little bit of color in them. So use any sort of acrylic ink that you've got. Like I said, even the Write and Draw inks. Anything that's highly concentrated, okay? Give that a go. Don't go out spending too much money on what everyone else is using. Just use what you've got and see if you can make it work. I do believe that any highly pigmented ink will work. It's more about your resin, the type of resin that you're using. If you're using a thick 1-to-1 resin, it's really not going to work very well. 2-to-1 resins seem to work well. And the Art Pro works well as well. All right, so that's all in there. Let's give it a bit of a swirl. Oh, I'm hoping I'm not going to get mud. Okay, I'm going to pour over my little dot there, my little flower. Let's pour the rest in. I'm hoping to get something pretty. And I chose a green flower, so I'm assuming I'm going to get quite a bit of green, I think. You can give it a bit of a swirl if you want, just so, yeah, in case, because I don't like those big, like a swirl, like a lollipop swirl. I really don't like them. So hopefully give it a little bit of a swirl. All right, now Oh, I was going to pick it up and bang it, but I better not. Be really, really careful when you're using any sort of torch, because the resin in there is only very shallow and the heat will go down and burn your mold, especially the edges. So be really, really careful. Right, now my white, I've got my bloom, my white pigment paste in there. And I would say it's opaque. If you tip the stick right over, you can kind of see through it on the very edge, but I guess it's just opaque. It's certainly more opaque than what I would use for my 3D bloom. So my 3D bloom, I use one small drop per 10 grams. And with the bloom nozzle, you can actually control the size of the drop depending on how big you want it. You can twist the nozzle halfway, or you can twist it a full way, depending on what size drop you want. I only use small little drops. Looks very green, doesn't it? But I'm after a green flower today. Alrighty. Let's cut that little tip off. If you're not used to using a piping bag, I would suggest just start with a small hole, because you can always squeeze to get more out, and make sure that you twist it and tuck it in, okay? You don't want the resin running out the back, and you don't want the bag sort of scraping in your resin. So, alrighty, here we go. We are dotting. And feel free to fast forward if you don't want to watch me dot. No, it's not the most exciting thing. And it does go on a bit, doesn't it? Oh, there's a bubble. Oh, are you floating? Are you floating? No, you're not. Oh gosh, that's good. There's just a bubble that's come out from underneath it. Oh, I was panicking. All right, here we go. Keep going. So it's up to you whether you want to do small dots, big dots. If you want bigger petals, bigger dots usually work. And also if you want more defined petals, let your resin thicken up. If you're not using a thick-ish resin, wait till your resin has thickened a bit and then pour. I waited, I put my resin in the vacuum chamber. That took about 10 minutes, and then I measured out all my resin and mixed my colors. That took another 5 minutes, and then I started the video. So my resin was actually sitting for 15 minutes before I started the video, which allows it to become a little bit thicker, which allows your petals to be bigger, puffier, more defined. If you find that your petals are just kind of flat, there's not much definition to them, it's probably your resin's too thin, and what's happening is that your white dots are just hitting the bottom and going splat and spreading rather than staying suspended in the thicker resin. Does that make sense? So if you do want your petals a little bit thicker and puffier, just wait a little while until your resin has started to thicken a bit. Like I said, it takes me 15 minutes to vac it, to mix it, to stir it, and then I'm ready to go. This is the Platinum Super Clear that I'm using today. It's my new favorite for the fairy flower and the fantasy flower that I've been doing. It seems to work really well for this particular type of flower. Just pushing that, trying to push those dots forward, like so. Let's wonder if I can get another little row in. Haven't got much left in my little bag. I will use it all up. And then what I've been doing recently as well is not adding any white pigment paste to my push, my clear dump or push at the end. I've just been having it clear. And it's been working really well for me. And I also like the fact that I can see what's going on in the middle. I can see whether or not it's closing or whether it's going to be a big white blob. That's another reason why I've gone for clear, is because I don't want the big white blob. I'd rather have, you know, like it's kind of green in the middle. I'd rather have a green blob in the middle rather than a big white blob. So that's why I've been going with the clear. 2 reasons there. So I can see what's going on and not have a big white blob. So hopefully that's inspired a few people to have a go at doing that. All right, quick little light torch, just with my little tiny one, not the big one. So yeah, but still, got to be really careful you don't burn your resin. Now I've put this leftover resin in a wider, sort of shallower bowl, just because if it's deep, it'll flash cure and it gets hot really quickly. So that's only about maybe 3/4 of an inch or so deep. All right, now I'm going to pour this into the middle. I haven't got a middle as such, but I'm going to pour it over the top of the flower and hopefully it'll still spread. And you can see already that, see what those white dots have been doing? They've kind of been, you can see that they've moved. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you can see them there. So hopefully that will all come back in again. You put the clear push in, it pushes the resin out, and then the resin wants to come back in. And as it comes in, it makes pretty petal flowers. So that's the whole idea. Whether or not it will close over on the top, I don't know, because like I said, my resin is thicker now. I've been waiting for it to get thicker, but I do prefer the shape of the petals that way. So that's why I'd rather it not close on the top, but close on the bottom. So I'm going to give this about 15-20 minutes, and then I will come back to you. Shall we do a time lapse? I haven't done a time lapse on a fairy flower. I mean, I've done a lot of them on the Larimars, but I don't think I've ever done them on a fairy. So if you're interested to see what's going on, let's do a quick little time lapse on it. Okay, it's time. Still warm from the curing machine. Now, look, I want to shine the torch in there. I want to show you how cool this looks. If you don't want to see flickering lights, look away now. Okay, look how cool that is. Like looks like the bottom of a river, like with all the little reeds and things coming up. It looks so cool. Love it. Really curious to see what the other side's going to do. All I see is green and just a bit of white. Like, that's it. I can't see any other colors, so I have no idea. Look, oh, look, there's a tiny bit of purple right there. Right there. That's it. That's all the purple there is. Okay. Really curious to see what it's going to do. I will link my Cascade mold down in the description for you if you want that one. It's really pretty. It's like fabric cascading over the edges. Now, it's not as thick, as deep, because I took out like, I don't know, 40 mils or something, 40 grams of resin. So it's gone from that to like shrunk down a bit, but hopefully it'll still work. All right, because we do need like a deeper mold for these techniques. So hopefully I haven't taken out too much. Let's see what we've got, shall we? Ooh, look at that. It is green. Wow. I'm really digging these big puffy petals that I've been getting. I've been trying so hard to get them. And yeah, finally got them. Woohoo. I've had a few videos now that have these big, thick, chunky petals. So yes, and I think it's down to the fact that I'm letting my resin sit, so it's getting thicker before I'm pouring it. So these big petals are staying suspended in the resin and kind of floating rather than just dropping straight through the really thin resin and just going splat and hitting the bottom. So that's my theory on it. So what do you think? I don't know. My choice of a green flower was probably not the best one because it's so green. But there we go. We have a green flower with a tiny, tiny little bit of purple in it. Got eaten up. And yeah, you can't really see the blue. We have a green flower. What do you think? It's really pretty though. I like it. I do like it. And it's got that dark center like around there. Like if I had put a white push in. Hang on, wrong hands. I thought that felt a bit weird. A bit unco. Unco is uncoordinated. Do you guys use the word unco? Or is it just an Aussie slang thing? I think, which way? Maybe the purple on top. Yeah, so as I was saying, that dark center there, if I had done a white push, as in the white resin at the end, pouring it in, I would have had a big white blob. Whereas now, because I just used a clear, I'm actually getting, you know, the colors that are in the actual pour. So it's a dark greeny color. Yeah, I love it. There's the petals. There's the edge. So pretty. All right, it's going to go around the back of my bench. So I like the light there. I think it's really pretty. Where will we go? Up here. I've got my other colours ready to go down there of what I want to pour. I hope you guys aren't getting sick of fairy flowers and dragon flowers and fantasy flowers. I guess there's other videos that I've got that you can watch if you don't want these, but the people that are experimenting with them, like me, I really enjoy seeing other people's videos. If someone puts it up, I thought, oh, great, a fairy flower for me to go and watch. And I'll go and watch it and see their colours that they're using and their resin that they're using. And I'm really interested in it. So hopefully you guys are as well in the colours and resins and inks and everything that I'm using. So there you go. Alrighty, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you all again real soon for the next one. We'll just pop that right there so I can say goodbye to you on my other little bench in front of the window. Maybe not. We'll go back around here. It's a bit glary there. Go back. All right. So these are my colours. I want to try these ones just while I've got you here, captive audience. Pink, turquoise and green. And then that's for a fairy flower. And then I want to do another fantasy flower. And I want to do turquoise and mauve, a double colour. And with the metallic duo violet brass, and then with the black push at the end. So those two are coming up very soon. Looking forward to this one. Yes. All right. Gotta go. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed my video. And hopefully I'll see you all again real soon for the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.